Alrighty, happy Friday, Outbounders, and welcome aboard our launch day Q&A with the staff. A couple of little friendly housekeeping notes here before we get too far down the rabbit hole. First of all, audience, you are welcome to keep your cameras on if you like. We love to see your happy faces, but please keep your microphones off. If you have questions that you would like to have addressed in tonight's session, please feel free to either drop them in the chat of this Zoom meeting or in the Discord. I will be toggling back and forth between them both. Please note that we are recording, so if you don't want your voice or likeness used within this recording that will be published for those that are not able to join us tonight, please feel free to mute your mics and turn your cameras off now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving along here, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our friendly staff that are kind enough to give up an hour of their Friday night here to illuminate us all. And I'm just going to go alpha because that's how the participants list works. So, of course, starting off the night, Alex, my good friend. Hello. Happy
Hello,
Friday.
hello.
Did you?
Yeah, so I'm Alex Richmond. I'm the event director. I'll also be the the GM. Try that one. The GM for Purple Team, which is going to be CivGov and the civilian press, which is kind of my little wheelhouse. I really enjoy it. I've obviously been with this project since the start back in 2018.
Fabuloso. Thank you, amigo. Next in the alpha list, we have AJ. AJ DeLong, our black team leader.
Howdy. Uh, Hi, I'm AJ. I'm in charge of the Marines, which is a black team. Um, yeah, I was in charge of the Marines the first time around, and I deal with all the pew-pews and violence and fun, and I'm crass and aggressive, and that's what I do best.
We love you for it. Thank you, AJ. We actually have a couple other folks that we don't normally get to see on these calls too. So I want to take a quick minute to say hello, good evening, happy Friday to both Gun Mom Augie as well as Lee, our friends over from Mid Michigan Laser Combat, who are going to be helping us out a bunch with the stuff to make the pew pew for you. I made that up on the fly. Don't come
That
for
was
me.
good though. I was good. That was good for on the fly.
Hello, thank you for the intro. Um,
Thank you.
I, yeah, I think I'm going to be an embedded NPC type just to make sure that everything goes well with the equipment on ship and in game. Last I knew, so
That is correct.
yay! I got it right.
Fabuloso. Welcome aboard. And Lee, I see you're muted, but hello, happy Friday. We see you. And then the last stop in our alpha participants, I do just want to go ahead and say hi to our good buddy Jonathan from Windfall Productions.
We did just have another staff member sneak in as well.
Did we?
We
What are
did.
you doing to me, guys? Jeez. Oh man, it's Casey. Hi, Casey. You might still be connecting. Oh, what?
Everybody. No, my mouse kept skipping over the unmute button. Actually, it was really cute.
Oh, gee.
Hi.
Welcome aboard. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and the teams that you were leading this year?
Um, Hi everyone. I'm Casey. If I don't know you, good to meet you. I am the assistant event director for Up on Hope 2026. I am also heading up what we're calling the gold team, gold standard, for writing, which is going to be the crew, so the bridge and the various other crew members across the ship, as well as the drones, drone pilots, and a couple of other things in terms of writing. So if you're one of those, I'm your GM.
Welcome aboard, Casey. Thank you. And of course, hi guys, I'm Chantal. I'll be your host for tonight. I will be voicing Sai for this year's Outbound Home mission. I was a player in year one, week one, and week two, and was slated to be GMing for CivGov Press and Civ Security for the ill-fated 2022 run. This year, I will be doing some side stuff and pinch hitting with some of the extra character stuff, as well as many spreadsheets and admin things, but not all of them. And basically, whatever hat anyone else is not wearing, I'll put on. Happy to be here. Welcome aboard, and let's get this party started.
I like how we all described 2020 and 2021 and the ill-fated mission. That's good.
That poor thing.
Before we jump into questions real fast, one thing that I forgot to throw on the itinerary for Chantal, but as of this week, we are actually 6 years out from the original Outbound Hope in 2019. And for those of you who've been a part of our community for a while, November became we always celebrated it as our launch day, kind of commemorating the launch of the Outbound Hope mission through the Bifrost Gate, and on to bigger and better things. Um, but again, for those of you who've been with us, you know that through COVID, we actually kept up the launch day tradition pretty powerfully, and we had some fantastic opportunities to meet together as a community, through the lockdown and through all the mess that we had back then, which still seems surreal that we all went through it, but here we are. For those of you who may have noticed that we called this our launch day Q&A, it really is, and it's really cool to still have this going, to still have this phenomenal community, and we love working with you guys. So just a fun thing to point out for you. And Amanda, to your comment, has it really been that long? Yep. Some of us
Yep.
has the gray hairs to prove it.
My third graders in high school now, y'all. That's how the time does fly. So, boy howdy. Alrighty. Alex, any other talking points we want to go over here before we dive right into stuff?
I mean, you know me, I could talk forever, but let's jump to some questions.
Alrighty. Well, we've got a great one starting off here from the Discord chat from Constance. What is one thing you can share, without any spoilers, of course, you are excited to change from the canceled game or the prior game? Either or.
Any GMs who aren't me want to start this one off?
I will. I just need a moment to actually consider what is not a spoiler. Um,
Well, I I like that we have access to a lot more of the ship that we didn't before.
Mhm.
I would say that's a big one. I mean, as a GM, just like we have more play space.
um, I'm gonna maybe this is a cop out answer. You can call me out if you feel like it is, but um, one thing that I really like is that we found a way to hit the middle ground between preserving the game and the story that we all told together in the initial run, and still respecting that, making it canon, but we have a nice new entry point for new players to feel like they're not missing a piece of the story or the community, right? We're all entering at launch day together. And Alex and I, we had a lot of back and forth, different ideas and how do we do this.
Pages of
But that's the
notes.
one. Yeah, but that's the one that kept rising to the top. And what I really like is that we can look at the lessons that we learned, which are many, from our initial run, implement them here, like the Thursday night, what I refer to as the soft game on, which is we're going to get to know each other, learn our ship, and all that other stuff. That's not originally how things were slated in 2019. And so maybe it's a bit of a cop out, but I'm really enjoying the fact that we can take all of these little lessons that were forced on us, and implement them and just make a more polished story with better story beats, more natural, what feel like more natural breaks and things like that throughout it, better pacing. So, um, yeah.
Fabulous answers. Thanks, gang.
Um,
Piggyback. Go ahead.
No, I can echo absolutely everything that both AJ and Casey just said. I mean, we have learned a lot as storytellers, as game runners. Um, the soft opening that we had in 2019 was actually kind of forced on us by tech that wasn't working at the time, and now it's just become so integral to all of the different games that we've run in the past few years. And it's kind of like, well, why didn't we have that at the start? So, yes, there's a lot of things that we've learned. One of the other things that I'm actually kind of excited to be able to do with this new start is we're actually kind of readdressing a lot of mechanics and a lot of in-game technology that we weren't really able to do as well the first time around. And I think it's going to make for a much smoother game and a game that's much more intuitive and just easier to participate in.
I would add to that. I mean, when with our initial run, thinking back to that, I mean, as far as GMs go, Casey and I were just babies. I mean, Casey had never run a game before. I had never run a game before. And since then, we have done other things. And I would say we're a bit more seasoned now. So you get an upgrade because we've been upgraded. Hooray.
It's true. It's really true.
Cheers.
Piggybacking right off of that, we do have a second question that is one thing we can share without any spoilers that we're either disappointed we can't change from the prior game or the cancel game. So something that, we are maybe needing to learn to live with or adjust to.
My
Um,
biggest loss, I wish we had the Bastion with us. I love that
yeah.
ship. I
As a
absolutely
writer.
love that ship and the stories that we were going to be able to tell with that ship. But she is decidedly with the Dawn. We don't want to wreck that continuity. So hopefully we'll have the chance to see her again. But that's one of my big disappointments, I guess.
Yeah, so again, to echo off, I kind of piggyback off of what Alex said is, um, in trying to preserve everything that we did, we wanted as few retcons as humanly possible to preserve that original story we all told together. And we'd put a lot of our eggs in that one basket, right? All of our ships that we had plans for and stuff were with the Dawn. And so a challenge that we've had to overcome is looking at, okay, what do we have left? And what can we do with it? And what kind of stories can we spin? What storylines um, lend themselves to these other things that not that we didn't know what they were up to, but we figured we wouldn't see them for a while. And now suddenly they're thrust back into the spotlight. So I wish that maybe we'd left a little bit more wiggle room in that initial world build or the initial fleet uh, composition. But I think that we've done a really phenomenal job. Alex has been putting in a lot of work with uh, um, really filling out the ship roster and making them each have their own identity and feel and look. And I can't wait till he's able to share all that stuff. So um,
Well, thank you. And I think on that point, having a more limited roster of what we can utilize, it does kind of force us to really explore new opportunities, and as Casey said, really flesh stuff out. So I've personally been having a blast with especially the civilian ships. Just trying to breathe some life into those for the first time. I mean, in 2019, we had almost the exact same roster that we do now as far as the different vessels that were part of the Outbound Hope mission. Um, but it would say, this is an Olympic 4 carrier. Cool. what does that look like? What does that mean? What kind of things are available on an Olympic? And now that we've got this new software that is allowing us to actually visualize these ships, we can start to think, visually, physically, what are we looking at here? What kind of things do they have on them? What kind of crew? What kind of passengers? And to just be able to pull it apart, it's been really fun.
That's really exciting. This is supposed to be stuff we're disappointed by.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
I kid. We always want to hear the hype. I think that's what keeps us going. Skipping past a question that was answered in the chat that was just, is this being recorded? Yup, it is. We covered that at the top. So the next one, and this one is going to be mostly for you, Alex. So this one is coming from, how will the news networks work? Is it liberal versus conservative media? How many different news networks are there? You want to give us a little peek under the hood for press?
Hmm. Yep. So in terms of the actual logistics of how the news is going to work, basically we're going to have a means of distributing text information. We're also going to have a means of distributing video information if people feel so moved to actually edit a video while we're there. The press folks will get some sort of hardware and software to utilize if they want to. If they have their own stuff, they're more than welcome to bring it. But we're actually looking forward to seeing the types of materials that our press players are going to come up with, and we'll do as much as we can to really showcase those and make them part of the general media that's available to the crews of the ship overall. Now, is there going to be liberal versus conservative media? We're not going to draw the lines along. I mean, that's not really going to be our battle lines. It'll be more of USSC, pro DCA. It'll be more like pro or con with in-game factions. So one of the things that we've really tried to do as much as possible with our world building is not to get all the craziness of especially the current political climate involved in things. So we will have some press players who will slant a little bit more, anti uh, Space Command, U.S. Space, blanking today on why I don't know why I can't talk. Um, we'll have some people that are a little bit maybe pro ACA with the Anti-Colonial Alliance, and their materials will certainly skew in those different directions, which of course will also have a huge impact on morale. We will have, at least one press player is going to be a little bit more conspiracy theorist kind of thing. So they'll be digging into some things that maybe other people wouldn't necessarily care about, but if they can make other people care, then that'll certainly have a huge influence on what's going on and what's being known throughout the ships and the fleet. How many are there? We had it bookmarked for 6 press players per week. I don't think we hit a full 6. Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we hit full 6 in either week, but we still have at least 4, with the possibility of adding a few more wild cards into that
Interesting.
roster.
Five
The
and six.
5 and 6, really? Okay, well, good. Well, there you
Affirmative.
go. One of the other pieces to think about is as far as the news networks go, the civilian government will also be able to have their own say. So there will be at least one character involved in CivGov, who will be there to put some materials out on behalf of the civilian government, just as a counter to some of the things that the news agencies are doing. So from an in-world perspective, we have talked about organizations like SNN, the Solar News Network. We'll have other groups like that will actually start rolling out in World Build Wednesdays over the next coming months. So, Kier, did that answer all your questions? Fantastic.
Fabulous. The next one's probably going to be a little bit for you, but also probably actually more for Casey. But it's fairly general. And that is, can you tell us more about how duty shifts will work? What can a player expect during off-duty hours? Is the gunship going to have any off-duty hours as well? What does kind of the flow of the day look like?
Um, one of the for our newbies here, one of the big feedback things that we received from our first run of this was people wanted a little bit of downtime to explore the ship. They didn't want to be chained to their post necessarily the entire time. And so we came up with this idea of shifts. I think um, at current, I think we're looking at two, but Alex and I had a conversation actually about 2 hours ago prior to this call about having to take a look at it. It's going to depend on the number of players in different roles and stuff to make sure that we're constantly staffed. The idea being that there will be on shift times and off shift times, and if you are the helmsman during this time, you better have your butt in that chair flying the ship. And this is going to let people get out there and explore some more of those personal plots or group associated plots that we've developed. Explore the ship, see some of it. You know, we got some feedback that people were like, oh, the game was so great, but I was in the bridge the whole time. I never saw engineering. I never saw any of the other cool things. So we wanted to do want to give you guys the opportunity to go around and explore. Um, as far as the solar flare goes, sorry, not the solar flare. I get my wrist slapped. The Sally ride. um,
Fired.
um, uh, uh, that crew is so self-contained and self-sufficient that if they want to take shifts, they can work that out amongst themselves, but we are not going to be doing any sort of shift work for them. Um, uh, in addition, we also will have off-duty areas for players. We'll have a bar available. Some of the berthing areas we've kind of set aside as kind of hangout zones. You obviously your own berthing if you choose to have it, whether you're staying there in person or it's just in character, or you're staying at the hotel. Um, but yeah, and then if there's a general all hands call, you're gonna check to see where you're needed. If you are not on duty as the helms person, then I bet there's somebody who does need help. And we have currently built in the software, the ability to have those general calls across the ship go out in unison, so you'll see the entirety of the ship change from condition one, two, or three. And you'll have an expected behavior during all of those. So I don't know if I fully answered that question. So if I didn't, let me know.
And to Casey's point about off-duty time, we actually have one of our GMs is now the designated off-duty GM, and so it's his job to manage input plot for really anybody who's looking for something to do. So if you're one of those people that you don't like downtime, you'd rather just have constant stuff going on, that's now built into our system, so you can always find something to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like that answers that one very thoroughly. Thanks, gang. Let's see here. Can we repost the Zoom link? Yes, we sure can. There are a few really good questions here coming up in the Discord chat, and don't worry for those of you asking questions in the Zoom, you're up next. But in the Discord, we have a few kind of little quick ones back to back. So I'm gonna just go through these here, and I think Alex, you saw that post too, so we can kind of rhyme them off. The first one from Edward is there an immersive consent system like the OK check-in system?
So yes, we've used the OK check-in system before. We're perfectly fine with that. In fact, one of the things that you will see staff doing constantly is we'll constantly be flashing the OK to people just to kind of check in, just act as a little bit of a barometer. As far as toning up or down a specific scene, that's why we have the cleanup rule. So if you haven't yet figured this out, everything that's related to GMs pushing a little bit out of character, anything like that, is all janitor themed. I'm currently wearing my space janitor uniform right now because I thought it would be fun, although these will likely be tweaked a little bit for this year. But anytime you need a GM, you're looking for one of us. But as part of that, the whole cleanup system is in place that can kind of be used as a, hey, let's take it down a little bit, or let's escalate it if that's what you're wanting. The rules for that are established in that first section of the rules. So without getting into it too much, basically just quickly pull yourself out of character, which you just indicate by crossing your two fingers and putting it over your head. And then you can just say, hey, I need a cleanup. And if it's something that the other individual is not really willing to do, and you need to bring in a third party and actually grab a janitor, a GM, and have them moderate, we are absolutely happy to do that. You guys are going to see us all over the place. Our GM staff is constantly circulating. We're constantly in absolutely everywhere, except for Chantal, who's going to be locked to a computer, but we still love her.
It's true.
I did volunteer to be locked to a computer.
But as far as the actual specifics and making sure that everyone understands those consent rules and how they play out, remember that we are going to have those workshops as part of the initial piece before we even get on the Edson. We'll make sure that we're putting everybody in the event through the different workshops to talk about consent and safety and all of those different things. It is there in the rules. If you want to talk about it in more detail, definitely reach out to a GM. And we can help to make that happen.
Fabulous. Thanks, boss. Next one up from this rapid fired round from Edward is I want to be held accountable for my actions, but I don't want to be dead 2 hours into day one and have sidelined myself. Are there any safeguards besides the reviving pods?
You want me to take this one, other GMs? I'm happy to.
I mean, we, I mean, that's another reason for the janitors to always be around. Uh, we're not going to let you, essentially have a bad time. Uh, like, I can remember first boarding action. We had a Marine that was left behind by the rest of his squad. And the poor fella was left in engineering, and his squad didn't realize that he was there, and he was dead. And we found a way to get him out, anyways. It there, where there's a will, there's a way, and
Nope.
Alex can get into that.
Yeah, nobody's going to be dead for 2 hours. So obviously, if you're dead, you're dead. The entire biobed system that will be explained in significantly more detail to the medical folks will always be available to bring you back. It's the entire reason why the biobed system exists. It's just to bring back, resurrect, whatever word you want to use, players, so that nobody is ever dead. I know one of the questions that came up from Joshua a little bit later was talking about having to restart a brand new character. That will never happen to anyone. You will be your character the entire weekend. If they die, they die. That's fine, but you're going to come back one way or another. This is literally why we built this technology in world. Um, Certainly, it's possible that you might collapse down dead in a place that nobody else is there. The janitors will find you. Yeah, we don't let anybody go down for that long. And actually, on a very similar vein, if you do something dumb and you end up in the brig, we're also not going to let people just float around in the brig for multiple hours if that's unless that's something that they want to do. We did have a player who was like, I love being in the brig in year one, and he stayed there for what, like 2 or 3 hours.
Very
But
long
I think,
time.
but
I
he
think
was
the
having
break.
a blast with that role play. So
I think I heard one of the best monologues out of the break, so I hear you on that one. And I will say our new brig location is much more central, so you will have plenty of people to scream at from your cell.
but
Um,
absolutely, the technologies exist in world for a reason. They're there to protect you as a player as much as they are to protect you as a character. And we will get you up and running again. That's we'll come up with something. And we've done it. Casey, you were about to say something. Sorry.
like the event that you decide to die in the absolute bowels of the ship and nobody's coming looking for you. Do feel free to at some point go out of character and come find a GM and say, "Hey, I'm dead down 4 decks below, and nobody's going to come looking for me." we can facilitate to make sure that somebody does. Um, don't lay on the floor for 2 hours and be mad about it. Come talk to us so that we can fix it if we don't stumble upon you. However, one of the things we got patted on the back a lot for the first time that I really take pride in is just the constant presence of the GMs. You ever needed one of us, we were in arm's reach, and if it wasn't the one you needed, we could get them to you very quickly. We have more GMs this time and better layout, better access, better everything. But in the unlikely event that you do feel that way, go out of character, come find us, be like, hey, I'm dead and I want to play this game. We want you to play too. So
Yep.
Opa. Fabulous. Thanks, gang. Rocking right along. Is there an out of game medical area or a non RP zone we can escape to if we don't feel good?
Yep. The actual location has moved around a couple of times, and will likely move around a few more times before we finally get to the boat in April. But that's been a priority for staff since the beginning to make sure that we have an actual out of character zone, even if it's just an empty room with some chairs and a box of snacks. We will make sure that you have that space because it can be a lot. Um, some people really like the immersion of, I want to be there the entire time and we want to support those people, and just as much we want to support those people who need those little breaks. Honestly, the best place I find to just decompress and slip out of character is to go out onto the deck for a little while, get a little fresh air, feel the wind for a minute, and then go
See the
back into
sun?
the tin can. So. But yes, an interior space will be set aside specifically for that reason.
Excellent. And then last one from Edward is, are there any safeguards for sleeping out of character and not being woken up during off hours?
So off hours, if you take a look at the schedule, that's actually online, and that is under event details and then 2026 event schedule. It goes kind of hour by hour as to what's happening at that time. Um, you have an 8 hour block each evening where it is game off. We have had some people who have expressed an interest in having a 24-hour full
Game?
right on through, actually like more like 72-hour full game. That is a fabulous idea in concept, but our GMs need sleep just as much as our players do. And so there will be definitely off hour times. So I'm just checking right here. I think we've got it from 12 till 8. If people want to be up and awake, that's fine. You totally have that option, but you just need to be aware that there are not going to be any GMs that are going to be available for play moderation at that point. We will always have people on the ship for things like safety and whatnot. But there are some pretty hard and fast that we are done now. If you want to go finish up your little conversation, that's fine. But we're not going to have a firefight at 2 a.m. We're not going to have a meteor hit the ship at 4. I promise, conclusively, because I need to sleep or I get crabby.
All right. So Marines had a party till 3 a.m. because it was the birthday. It was actually the Marine Corps birthday. It was November 10th. We had to.
But
But
it
there
was
are
optional
areas
to.
of the ship where you can do that and not necessarily be in berthing areas.
True. We were down in the bar.
You were.
We were good boys for the most part.
Oh dear.
I
AJ, I love you.
love you
Um,
too. Thank you.
Moving right along. The next question in the Discord is from Josh, but I think we already covered that when talking about the biobed and resurrection and all that good stuff. So, Josh, please correct me if I didn't cover all your points. But otherwise, oh, already covered. Moving right along. For those who have been on the ship before, then from Elizabeth.
Chantal, hang on just a second. Josh, I do really want to thank you for bringing that all up, though, because that's totally a legitimate concern, and that's something that we've built the entire system to make sure doesn't happen. So we don't want anybody who's caught off guard, and you were this player, but now you're going to be this player for the rest of the weekend. we know that people are going to have an emotional investment into this character. You're probably going to put a little work into, possibly costuming and things like that. We don't want to pull the rug from underneath you at all. The skip drive, however, the
Ah,
skip drive, because that's one of the things that Josh brought up in his comment that I just wanted to talk to. So if you're not familiar, the skip drive is the technology that allows the Flame of Liberty to be here and then all of a sudden be here with basically nothing in between. So it's kind of an early form of teleportation kind of thing. And it's a fabulous technology that's done all sorts of really great things in world. It's also done some absolutely horrifying things. Um, so we introduced this idea back in 2019 of translation errors, where your molecules go from here to here, but for some reason there's a slight shift. So that little capillary that's bringing blood to your brain might just misalign to the point where you're just going to drop down. Um, in both weeks in 2019, both weeks were so terrified of this idea of translation errors that nobody used the skip drive at any point. And that was fun. But also, truth be told, we didn't really have a mechanism behind the scenes that would have controlled any sort of fallout from utilizing it. So one of the things that we have done this year is to introduce, you're going to see on your character sheet, you're going to have what's called your medical number. And it just kind of looks like a fun thing that's there as maybe some sort of fluff, but actually it's a relatively important number because anytime the skip drive is utilized, we will call out a random number of digits.
numbers.
And if those digits match your number, you're down. Now, remember, even death is a temporary thing here, so we can throw you in the bio bed. You might miss 20, 30 minutes in the meantime, but you get some fun RP out of it. You will have a little bit of memory loss when you come back because you won't have your save point right away. But we'll talk about all these little details in tutorials, but also as we send out some more rules updates coming soon. All that is to say, Josh, I noticed your comment in here about how you're very excited to die with the skip drive. Keep in mind, the skip drive and its fallout are only available on the Flame of Liberty. So the Sally is never really going to have to deal with the skip drive's ill effects unless the Sally ride is docked with the Flame of Liberty and skipping with the Flame of Liberty. So there's some little nuances there that are going to be fun to moderate. That's my 2 cents on the skip drive. Just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I love it. I always try to picture it kind of like, doing the old copy paste. And if everything is landing in the paste as it should, you're hunky dory. But if one pixel is off, you may have a problem. And if that pixel is in a couch cushion, we're going to be fine. If that pixel is in the hull, we may have a problem. And if that pixel is in your brain, you definitely have a problem. That's what I like to think of it as. Just those little slight variations are what causes the problems.
Again, I've got chat open here, and Ashley just mentioned I don't mind dying if we get to come back in 30 minutes with memory loss. It honestly, some of the role play that we've seen come out of the use of the biobed has been
Oof.
fabulous.
Made
Um,
me cry.
yeah, or heartbreaking, one or the other, or hysterical. I still enjoy the husband and wife plot, but
It's the only
Oh,
plot that required a cleanup the entire my entire GM my experience.
all right, back to you, Chantal.
thanks, Alex, and thanks for getting those pieces of that question that you wanted to cover in there. You're always welcome to stop me if I'm keeping this party rocking too fast. Our next question is from Elizabeth. For those who have been on the ship before, what did you wish you had known before you got there that you know now? In other words, we can read that there are tight quarters before we get there, but is there something you wish you had brought with you, or something you figured out after the fact you want to share with first timers? Doesn't necessarily have to be about bunking, just setting expectations or things to plan for. I've got one I want to throw out real quick while you guys are making your thinking faces. The ship is metal. Very little is magnetic. And I've seen a lot of people chatting about, bringing curtains or, a pictures of loved ones or things and some magnets to stick them up around their bunk. Chances are that will probably not work the way you hope for it to. So do consider alternate means of putting those things up, with also not damaging the paint or the play site of this historic ship that we are borrowing nicely for a couple weeks.
Yeah, if you're looking to hang a curtain, there are little metal lips so you can kind of get, I don't know why I'm doing this
Binder
on
clips.
camera. Yeah, a little hooks and things like that will
Yeah.
work well.
Binder clips worked well for me in year one because they can just
Things that
about.
always hit me. This is going to be weird. There's a very distinct smell to the Edson.
Mhm.
And having a very limited scope of naval ships that I've been on. So Tom, I'm sure you can correct me here. There's a very distinct smell when it comes to the Edson, and some people are really weirded out by it. Some people absolutely love it. I will find that like this only stopped smelling like the Edson after a good 4 or 5 washes. Um, it's like a little bit of oil and grease and
Diesel, engine
yeah.
oil,
Diesel. Yeah,
paint.
yeah,
Yeah,
diesel.
Yeah.
some diesel, some linseed oil from the ropes. Yeah.
It's not a like debilitating, this is awful smell. It's a very noticeable
It's
smell.
ambiance. It's a distinguished ambiance for the ship, that's for sure.
Augie, is the "it's so good" comment, is that about the smell?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Um, I am an incredibly light sleeper. Um, I'm always surprised by how it is relatively quiet. I mean, obviously, if you've got somebody in a bunk above you, it's not going to smother that noise. But between rooms and things like that, like there's actually a lot more quiet than you would think. That being said, if you are a light sleeper and you do insist on staying on the ship, think about things like a sleep mask, earplugs, all that kind of stuff.
And then I think, of course, the other stuff we've already talked about in Discord quite a lot as far as accessibility of outlets, power sources,
Mhm.
places to plug things in.
Yeah,
Um,
power is one of those things that will perpetually be a problem all around, and it's just the fact that it's a Cold War era ship. You're not going to have as many outlets on it anyway. A lot of those outlets are going to be taken up by staff in certain areas. Obviously, not so much in like the berthing and whatnot. Um, but it's sometimes very tricky to find a power outlet, even for staff when you're trying to set up 6 computers across a bridge. Um, so we have to get creative, and if you have things like external power sources like batteries, it's a good idea to have those things. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you are the kind of person who has some sort of medical sleep aid, we are strongly going to suggest that you think about that hotel, just because power is never a given. It's never a guarantee on that boat, even for us, as we learned and blew several fuses in 2018 and 2019. But
Did we at any point mention steel-toed footwear?
we have talked about it.
I would recommend it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm trying to remember if we mandated it or not. I don't think we've
We did not.
it's
mandated it,
not a
but
mandate. It's definitely not a mandate, but I would highly recommend, especially if anybody wants to move with any speed. Um, if you're moving in between cabins, you do at some point you will catch a lip with your feet, and it's going to hit your toes, and it is metal, and you will lose that fight. Be mindful of that. Steel toes matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are places where you do have to remember, oh, I have to step over this lip because remember the ship is built to be watertight, and sometimes that means that you have to have the bottom of the door up a little bit higher in case there's water sloshing around.
Oh
So
yeah,
there,
there was the mandate of closed-toed.
yeah,
yes,
yeah. So it was steel toes recommended, closed toed required, and also flat required. So as much as the temptation is there, speaking as someone that played Civ Gov in year one, to be the Devil Wears Prada in the really nice heels or the big high heeled boots or what have you, we do say flat is also necessary just for your safety.
Yeah, between the way the stairs are or the ladders are and the portholes, definitely recommended.
Yep.
and I do feel like this dovetails nicely into the question that Kier brought up in the chat about gloves. We're never going to make people wear gloves, but if that's something that you want to do, we will certainly not tell you no. It's hard to guess what the ship is going to be like in early or late April, early May. It will probably be on the cooler side just because the ship is a giant radiator when you think about it. Like all that metal is just going to throw out any heat and suck in the cold.
And the river
Um,
is a conductor
and
as well.
yep, and the river will still be cold. So it'll probably be
Um,
on the cooler side, but definitely not in the dear God, I can't feel my toes that we saw in November of 2019. Kayleen cringed a little bit on that one. Memories.
It was a chilly one. All
All
right.
right. Is that
Any
everybody
for That's
from
everybody
Discord?
from Discord. So we're gonna hop on over to the Zoom chat now. And I do have, I'm skipping past some of the joking questions. Forgive me, fam. No, we are not scripting for the parking lot to flood. So let's see here. Had it and then I scrolled. Oh, so first year, our poor crew lost so many ships. What are our chances of saving the fleet this time?
use the skip dry.
So fun fact, losing those ships was not scripted in year one. Y'all let that happen, and we let it happen as a result. Um, it's entirely possible that the Flame finds itself in a very similar situation where things are going bad on the other side of the Bifrost station. I don't know. That sounds like it might be a thing, but you never know. Um, your
So,
choices are your choices, and we
so yeah,
support them wholeheartedly.
we'll turn it into the answer of we're not railsing this. Your actions have consequences, and they have long-lasting and far-reaching consequences. Um, I will never forget. My first time running a game, I need to ask Alex a question. I go find him in the closet. He's been locked in for 2 days, and I walk in and I start the question. He's just staring at the screen, completely shell-shocked, and he just whispers, "They just lost the entire fleet."
I This was hilarious. It was great.
Yeah, yeah, real great.
I
So I don't know. No, we're not gonna put any guardrails in place to make sure that doesn't happen. That's what y'all are here to do. Use the skip dry.
I will say, it will help that you're going to have a lot more training time on Thursday to familiarize yourself with the capabilities of the ship, with the skip drive, with the weapon systems. We'll have you do a few trial runs and things like that. You'll shoot some target dummies and whatnot. So hopefully people will feel a little bit more confident this year. If things get bad, hopefully you'll just make it to the other side of the gate and you'll just sail right onto the new planet. Everything will be fine.
We love a happy
Smooth
ending.
sailing. Yeah, smooth sailing the game.
Don't
Honestly, we
sail
did we
away.
did joke
Don't
about like
sail away.
what if we just give them the story that they were supposed to have? It'll catch
You just
everyone
get
off
there.
guard.
Like our t-shirt, Casey. I was told there would be Astra. Oh dear.
Uh,
Um, but while I'm hassling Casey here, I actually have one here for you from Ren. Um, they would love to hear more about the drone pilot role since it's a new one for this run of the game, especially the mention of how they might be cybernetically enhanced in some way. Will they be more related to the Marines or the general military crew?
So one, I have a soft spot in my heart for any fighter pilot style story. I just love that stuff. Everybody here's probably heard the story a million times, but I became a sci-fi nerd when I was in second grade. I was flipping through the channels on TV and I landed on the Battle of Yavin, and it was the first time I'd seen anything Star Wars related, and I have been hooked ever since. So, pilots, drones, whatever you want to call them, they're kind of my baby, and I love them. Um, so in lore, I don't know that we've released anything like this. There will probably be a World Build Wednesday that describes this all in detail, but essentially, yes, fighter pilots are cybernetically enhanced in the same way that we've talked about Omega A's and B's, psi operatives, things like that. Um, but they are specifically cybernetically enhanced to interface with the drone software so that the communication timing between the drone being operating far, far away from the ship is instantaneous. There are potentially negative side effects to this neural implant, and we'll discuss those later. Um, but yes, that's the lore reason for them being cybernetically enhanced. It also means that, Joe Blow can't jump into the cockpit of a fighter and take it off and go do something, because they don't have the proper software to hardware software to interface with it. Um, Sorry, Chantal, what was the rest of the question? I got lost.
I got to scroll back up.
Mhm.
Will they be more related to Marines or to general military? And I think I can answer that one. They're
Sure.
probably a little bit more akin to almost a diet psyop than necessarily a Marine.
Yeah.
diet
Yeah.
style.
That's,
But yes,
um, yeah, no, that is the idea. It also will allow us to have some sort of consequence for you having your ship blown up, that you're operating far away. Um, we're still working with our software developer to get those exactly right. And talking about what the actual pilot stations are going to look like. We have a lot of like cool sketches and ideas, and you know, our perfect world, no budget build, and our uh-oh, we ran out of money builds, and everything in between. Um, and so as soon as we have like a better idea of what the software is going to need and what kind of hardware it's going to let us put in, we'll let you guys know. Um, but yeah, I love a story of the launch the fighters and scramble and all that other fun stuff. Sometime in the relatively near future, I do plan on putting out some sort of military code brevity document so that you can get some lingo under your belts, and that's not going to apply just to the pilots. It's going to apply to all of the military crew. Just some common terms and things to help sell the authenticity and the immersion and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, if I answered all your questions, great. If not, you can also feel free to reach out to me, either on the Discord or personally.
I will butt in about what I've been working on lately. We did just finalize a design for the drones themselves and what they look like, and they're really sexy.
Mhm. They're really cool. They're really cool. Um, we went through like
A
10
lot,
iterations.
a lot,
Yeah.
many.
So fun. Another quick one as we scroll through the list as we approach the bottom of the hour. I want to make sure we cover all our bases here. Is there an actual lights off? Should we bring flashlights? And I don't think all of the lights turn off.
They don't. The only way all the lights turn off is if I throw the switch to the entire ship, and I'm not going to do that. So there is almost always some light somewhere. The berthing areas, again, this is using a naval term. Berthing just means like the place where everybody sleeps. And remember that is kind of dorm style where there's multiple racks of bunk beds and whatnot. Even in those areas, there are some lights that are on to cover hallways and whatnot. We're going to do that for safety reasons. So if you are light sensitive, remember try and bring some sort of sleep mask.
And the main main deck, pretty much lights are going to be on all the way down main deck. So
Yeah,
There are
those never
there
go
are
off.
there are certain areas of the ship where there are individual light switches, but there are lights that run the entire length of the ship on all decks, that do not turn off, like Alex said. So we can dim some areas of the ship. I believe the berthing areas have the ability to do that. But yeah, definitely if you are a light sensitive sleeper, consider a sleep mask or some other way to personally block light.
Mhm.
Fabuloso. Up next, and we kind of already covered these two in a way. One's a little bit more pointed. Will the press room have dedicated power available for editing and uploading? Alex says yes. Uh,
It does, and it's also in an area of the ship where we don't have a whole lot of other stuff competing with it. So hopefully that'll be pretty available to everybody. How many outlets are in there? I don't know. I'll have to recount.
Radical, thank you. And Elizabeth, to your comment, that is maybe a question, maybe not. I'm just going to cover it here anyway. If you need to recharge your phone and you do have power banks, yes, I would recommend bringing those.
Hmm.
Absolutely. People talking about bonking their heads. Please don't bonk your heads. Don't wear a baseball hat on the ship because you're going to bonk your head if you can't see above you.
at
See, I
least not forward.
disagree. I disagree. I like having a ball cap on the ship because the rim is going to hit before my head does. But that's me.
Let's see.
Tom
Power.
says no. Tom, a cap has saved my head on many occasions.
And that takes us to the end of the questions. Actually, we got them all.
All right.
More.
Anybody want to throw one last one in there before we go? Ooh, ow. Tom, that sounds like a hurt.
Please don't bonk your heads. I have discovered I am the perfect height to just barely not bonk.
I will be hunching for 2 weeks. Um, no, I know we touched on it earlier, but I do want to reiterate it. I say it during the safety talk, and you'll hear it again and again and again. This ship was not designed with us in mind. Uh, it is metal, and you are going to walk away with bumps and bruises. Just try to move as slowly and safely as possible. Tuck your elbows and things like that. I know things get exciting and stuff, but it is really easy to get hurt on this ship. Ask our staff. So yeah.
I really like Ashley's question in the chat, so I'm gonna advance
Yeah,
it to the front of the line.
yep, that is the front of the line. My guy, give her.
What is one word you'll use to sum up your team's storylines? Oh, oh, I don't even know, but I just
One
like it
word.
as a question.
Can I use two?
I think I have to use two for CivGov.
I need two, I think.
Ooh, we're allowed.
We're allowed. I think CivGov is going to be chaos management, and press is just going to be good old intrigue.
That's three. Or one, depending which one you
Well,
choose.
two and one.
Good old, or just the intrigue part.
Oh, I got it. No, just intrigue.
For the short list of people that are going to be on my
Um,
team,
oh, yeah,
my
go for it,
babies.
Chantal.
My babies. I'm very excited to be working very closely with you guys.
What's your word?
My babies.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Babies.
going to be like
Two.
beep boop beep or something.
No,
Okay.
no, no, no. My babies. Those are my two words.
AJ, what do you got?
Crass and aggressive.
Fair.
Well, are we doing one word or two? The question says one word. I did zone out for a second because my kid woke up on
I
the
asked
with me
for
with ours.
permission for two, and
All
we
right.
got okay for two.
Wow. All right. Uh, crew is going to be um, and drone pilots will probably be cool.
I
Nice.
like it. Crew,
Um,
don't die.
don't die.
Don't die.
We've got if we're willing to stay for another couple minutes, we have opened the floodgates here. A little more selfish question from the crew of the Sally Ride. How often will they be docked? Which I think is up to them.
Whatever you
Um,
want.
and which teams will they interact with most? I think that's also a little bit up to you
Mhm.
guys.
Yeah, those are both pretty open-ended. We're giving the Sally a lot of freedom. I mean, you are a self-contained ship in and of yourself. That relationship that's going to develop between the Sally and particularly the captain and the XO on the Flame is going to be a really important one. And there's going to have to be some give and take as to are you going to just be perpetually docked with the Flame? Or are you going to be perpetually running missions and doing your own thing? Um,
Escorting the sandage, escorting the
yeah,
drone pilots. Are you
there's
working
a
with engineering to super up?
there's a lot of wiggle room to really let you do your own thing there. So who knows? Maybe the captain's going to want you constantly on patrol, and the captain of the Sally Ride is going to want to be docked so that their crew can have a little downtime, and that'll cause some tension. We love tension. Um,
What?
but yeah, it'll be
No.
interesting to see.
Times. We've got a player, Edward Hello Bonjour, who wants to make some small props and things. Is there a best time or person to talk to get the level of sci-fi we're working with so we're not over or undershooting the tech level? I
Yep.
would say Discord is probably the best place and, spitball some photos at us and we'll happily chime in.
Yep, and we have a couple folks on uh, prop and tech. One of them was here earlier. I don't know if he still is, but we're looking forward to having some conversations with those folks, and we've got some cool stuff coming.
Yay.
All
And I
right,
think
Peter, where's our gunship GM? I don't know. Casey, where's our gunship GM this evening? Life,
I believe he's on a date with his lovely girlfriend.
dumb.
but
That's
he
silly.
but he was in us with the Discord last night for those of you that were paying attention.
I
Staff did
talked to
have
him
our
for like
little
I talked to him for like an hour today about it as well.
About his date.
No.
That's tomorrow.
oh boy.
Ooh.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, crew, that sums us up 10:04, and we have covered all the questions. Yes, Joshua, I do mean the Aurora Borealis somehow localized in our Discord specifically. 9 GMs all chatting behind closed doors, just letting you have that peek. But yep, we are 10:05. We are at time. I'm sure everyone has fabulous plans to go off on their weekends for. I know the GM team was up late last night working on stuff, so we're probably ready for bed soon. I want to go ahead and thank everybody for their time joining us tonight and their excellent questions. I'm sure if you're thinking of it, there's probably 5 other players that are thinking of it
Hmm.
too. Staff guys, thank you for lending your time to us tonight and answering all of the questions for our lovely player base. I think I can speak for all of us on both sides of the fence when I say we're super excited for what next spring, 6 months from now, has in store.
Yeah.
Um,
And just closing thought from my end.
Please.
Always throw questions at us. We're happy to answer them. But your writing team is in full swing right now. So that was what our big meeting was about last night. Everybody has everything that they need, and some GMs are much farther along than others, as we learned. So absolutely, we're going to start to see some stuff rolling out here, and it's exciting. And also, if you haven't done your survey, get it done.
Do the dang survey. I don't care if the picture's a jellyfish.
Here, folks.
All right. Have a fantastic evening, all, and we'll talk to you soon.
Raspera.
Ad Astra.
Oh,
Yeah, the
well, I
Astra.
didn't do Paraspora.
Ad
For
Astra.
There
aspirin.
you go. There you go. We
Oh
all gotta
golly.
work on that. All right.
We got
Signing
six
out.
months.
It's been a while.
Have a good night.